Hello, my lovely library lions. Today I'm going to be doing a birthday haul. It was my birthday last Friday on June 11th, and I got a few books from my friends and family that I thought I would show all of you today. So let's get started. I forgot to include this book on my summer TBR list at first, and it is the 13th volume of Fullmetal Alchemist, the Fullmetal Edition. So my brother got this for me, and I didn't have it while I was filming my video last week. But I did get this. I am going to be reading it this summer. I love the cover of this. Olivier is actually my brother's favorite character, so I'm glad that he got this for me. And a nice spine. It's very exciting. I, again, really hope it has the scene that I want to see in the manga right now, because other than this one specific scene, I find that the Briggs arc is pretty boring. But I am excited to dig into this, and I'm so glad that I have it to add to my shelf. My parents always get me quite a few books, so the next 9 are from them. The first one is John Green, the Anthropocene Reviewed. So this was one that I wasn't certain I was going to pick up when it was first announced, but then I watched his video on Auld Lang Syne, and I found that I really liked the style, and I wasn't aware that was what the Anthropocene Reviewed was. So it's a book based on his podcast where he just reviews facets of life on a 5-star scale. So things like Auld Lang Syne and, vaccines, anything about life. It's just a general review book, but this also functions as an autobiography of sorts. So it starts sort of in John Green's childhood and moves into his adulthood, where he is a very well-known author and he's doing Vlogbrothers and he's doing very well for himself, and he sort of reviews things in timeline order. I think that's really exciting, and I'm really excited to read this when I initially didn't know that I was going to enjoy a non-fiction read by John Green. So I'm thrilled to have this, and it is a first edition, so it is also a signed copy. I'm a little bummed I didn't get any of the special signatures, but I am happy that I got a signed first edition, even though John Green's signature is very, very common because of how often he signs books for his fans. I got A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is a book I've wanted to read for a while just because I think the idea of it is really exciting. So it's sort of a journal written by someone who studies dragons as though they're real creatures. I don't know if anyone remembers the dragonology books and those sort of books where they write about dragons like they're real and they were for kids and they had all these cool tactile little bits. But the premise of this book reminded me of that, and I've wanted to read it since forever, so it's been on my wish list for quite a few years. I want to say 6, but I don't know if that's too long. So I'm really excited to finally get it, and I'm going to dive into it as soon as I have a chance. I talked in my summer TBR about how bad I am at reading sequels, but that doesn't mean I don't still pick up every sequel that I'm interested in. And for my birthday, I got Bone Crier's Dawn, which is the sequel to Bone Crier's Moon. I really liked this when it came in Owlcrate. I thought it was really exciting. I liked the historical aspect of it. I liked that it was set in France, and I really liked the relationship between the two main girls. The romance I wasn't so into, but I really liked that they were not sisters, but best friends, and they would do anything for each other. I thought that was really cute. I don't remember tons of the plot other than that they had to sort of kill animals to gain magical aspects, which I thought was neat. I really enjoyed that, and I liked that, obviously predators have cooler aspects, but there was also value to smaller animals like birds who have really good sight, so you want to have a bird bone so that you have fantastic sight. So I really like the premise of this book. I like the world they're building, and I wanted to see where they're going, so I'm happy that I received this as a birthday gift. I absolutely fell in love with Trisha Levenseller's work when I read her Daughter of the Pirate King duology, and so of course I asked for Blade of Secrets for my birthday. This is about a blacksmith who creates a blade that can take people's secrets and store them, which I think is a really fun premise. The cover is also really pretty. It has a few reflective bits that are pretty hard to see on the camera, but it does glisten a little bit, which is neat. It's not quite foiling, it's just little reflective dots there. So I am really excited to read this one. I really like Trisha Levenseller's writing. I think she's a brilliant author, and I think she's really good at making books feel exciting and sort of like action movies. She's very good with action scenes and fast plots, and I want to see where she takes this book. If this is good, she's probably going to end up being an auto-buy author for me. I'm going to read everything that she puts out, and this is the book that's going to decide that for me. This next book is a book that I already own, but I wanted a nicer version of, so I got the collector's edition of The Name of the Wind, which is beautiful. It is one of my favorite fantasy books, especially when you look into adult fantasy, so I really wanted a nice hardcover copy of it. Right now I just have this really used up, trashed trade paperback that really doesn't look nice on my shelf and also doesn't even match the sequel, so nothing to lose by getting a different, better looking book that doesn't match the sequel. The spine is lovely. I might cover face this on my new shelves though, because I love this. This is so beautiful. There's also art inside. The typeface is beautiful. I'm maybe gonna reread Name of the Wind just to read it in this format because I think it is so much better in this format. My only complaint is that they have not yet done the sequel in a collector's edition, and I need them to do that so my set can finally match. I've been trying to read all of the Scott Pilgrim series, and my parents picked up Scott Pilgrim number 5 for me in the color edition hardback. So a neat story about this is the 3rd volume of this set of Scott Pilgrim is not available anywhere. It is sold out everywhere, and also the 6th volume is sold out everywhere. So I have 1, 2, 4, and 5. I can't keep reading the series without 3. My brother, since last Christmas, has been desperately searching to get me the 3rd volume of this. He's been looking everywhere. There's nowhere that it's for sale. You can't even find used copies reliably. But he's been emailing, I guess, back and forth with the publishing company, and it seems like they're going to do a reprint of at least volume 3 in July. So he's planning on picking that up for me, and then I can actually finish this series and get to volume 5, because right now I'm stuck on volume 3 and I can't find it anywhere. I'm not sure why volume 3 and 6 sold so much better than the other 4 volumes, that it ended up that they were sold out and not available anywhere, and these ones are still easily picked up on Amazon and that sort of thing. It might be the covers. I don't know if those characters on 3 and 6 are more popular than others. I know 6 has Ramona Flowers, so maybe that is why, and it's Amy Adams, I think, on volume 3. They are pretty covers, but I don't know why, when it's a full set of beautifully bound hardbacks in color, only those 2 volumes sold that well. You would think you would want the entire collection and not just 3 and 6. And I doubt they published just fewer volumes of 3 and 6. So that's just a neat story about where I am with this. I am happy to have 5 though, because I'm worried that any of these might sell out and be gone forever at this point. I hope they republish 6 as well so that I can get the full set and finally complete this story. It's one of the only Canadian stories that I've read and really, really enjoyed, so I'm hoping I can finally finish this set and read it and have it displayed on my shelves. I've always been really into Dragon Age, and I've read a couple of the books published sort of in that world, but I haven't read any written by Patrick Weeks, who is my favorite writer on the team. So my parents picked me up The Palace Job by Patrick Weeks. I'm not too sure about the plot of this one. I just know that this was the first in a series that he wrote for Dragon Age, and he's written pretty much all of my favorite characters, so I'm sure that I will enjoy the characters and the plot in this. The stuff by David Gator I read, and I didn't so much enjoy when I read his written stuff, and then when I looked into what writing he's actually done on Dragon Age, it's never like my favorite plot lines or my favorite characters, so he's obviously a very good writer, but he's not what draws me to the series. It seems like Patrick Weeks is the person who writes all the exciting plots that really draw me in, so I'm really excited to read a full novelization in his work and see what he does with the world. The world is just so ready to be a whole expanded universe. It's ready to host novels. I bet it could do a movie. There's so much to dig into there, so many different sort of races and cultures and plots that could be interesting. I have read some of the comics. I'm just so invested in this world. I want more stories in it, and I'm really excited to have this one. The final book from my parents is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So this is a series I've been hearing about so much on Booktube, and my friend just recently read it, so I am wanting to read it. I want to see what's going on in the series. I was told there's a character who's sort of like Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses, who I absolutely thirst for, so I'm hoping to find a new book boyfriend, someone else to fall in love with. And it is adult sort of fantasy romance, which I haven't read tons of outside of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which has just moved into adult and wasn't initially adult. So I'm excited to see what they can do with this. I like that there won't be any sort of limitations based on age where they can't go certain directions because they're for younger readers. I'm trying to read more adult fiction in general for that reason, and this is a great place to start. I hope I love it and that I can get all 3 of the books and display them on my shelves because they do also have very beautiful covers. My final 2 books in my haul were sent to me by my best friend Zuzu as a surprise for my birthday. She also sent me a couple of soaps from her shop, which are bookish themed, so I'll show those off in a second. The first book she sent me was The Poppy War. This is another adult fantasy I've been hearing so much about on Booktube, about how dark it is, about how good, and it is, I think, almost a completed series at this point, or it is completed, so I don't need to wait for sequels, which is always exciting. I am really excited to read this. I haven't read any adult fantasy that's just sort of not romantic fantasy and is just straight action-packed sort of fantasy book in a while. I think the last one was a Game of Thrones, and that I haven't been able to read a new installment in years. So I'm excited to start this. I hope that it's as good as everyone says, because it seems so promising, and I can't wait to get into it. And my last book for my haul is A Deal with the Elf King. So this is almost completely something I wanted just because the cover was pretty. I saw it was included in a few subscription boxes, which always makes me think a little more about a book. And I realized there's not a lot of good elf fiction coming out right now. Everything is fairies, which are very similar to elves, but not quite elves, so I was intrigued to see what sort of story would be in here. And it is a series, so if I like it, maybe I can keep reading along with these stories. It is, again, I think more of an adult fantasy romance and not a young adult fiction book, so I am excited to expand my reading into the adult genre more and more often. Because I am 27 now, so I am ancient, and I still love YA, but I want to read more adult fiction and see where that takes me. So I said I'd show off the soap she gave me just briefly. The first one is this beautiful Darkling soap. It smells perfect for him, and you can't really see it because I don't want to take the label off and ruin it yet, but the design on the soap is like a little eclipse, which is perfect, and the top is very sparkly, which I love. And again, the smell is amazing. I think it's oak moss, sandalwood, violets, and magic. Not sure what magic is supposed to smell like, but I can definitely imagine the Darkling smelling like this, and he's one of the book husbands I've gotten into more recently, so I'm very excited to receive that from her. And the second soap is The Fairy King, which is juniper berries, rosemary, leather, and fairy glamour. This one smells a little less strong, but it's still really good, and I love the top frosting there with like the blood and the gold and the swirls on the inside. Her labels have gotten really pretty too. I'm probably just going to display these. I don't think I could bring myself to use such a beautiful soap, but it is really nice. I'm sorry that the wrapping kind of obscures it for you, but I can't bring myself to take it out of it just yet. But it is a super, super nice soap. I'll link her shop down below in case any of you are interested in that sort of thing, but I am really glad that she sent me 2 soaps. I feel spoiled. So that is it. That's everything that I got for my birthday that was bookish related. I think I had a really good haul this year, and obviously I had a really great birthday. I got to see my family now that we're out of stay-at-home orders, and I got to have really good food and just be with the people I care about, and I got to have a lot of new books, which is always a fun time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and I will see you next week.